What's poppin'? It's your boy Coach Scubar with the Jellicent Jams back here with week 4 of the Beast Ball Draft League Season 3. This week is our first inter-conference week, so we're going up against someone from the Therian Conference. We are actually going up against Coach Stewb of the Maryland Torterrapins. He's got a team of Iron Hands, Cresselia, Galar Moltres, Sinistcha, Primarina, Mimikyu, Volbeat, Slitherling, Magmar, and Ambipom. Again, we, the Jellicent Jams, have Iron Boulder, Rillaboom, Annihilate, Maushold, Primarina, Kanto Moltres, Alolan Muk, Sandy Shocks, Klefki, and Glaceon. We are currently sitting at 2-0 because I have yet to battle my week 3 opponent due to some technical difficulties. I believe Coach Stewb is sitting at 0-3, if I'm correct. Maybe he's 1-2. I actually have to go double check that. But anyways, you see, we're gonna get into the battle here. This week I'm bringing Rocky Balboa, Iron Boulder, Durexad, Salmonella, Sargasm, and Third Down versus his team of Iron Hands, Galar Moltres, Cresselia, Primarina, Slitherwing, and Volbeat. So that's 4 out of the 6 I was predicting. I was predicting the Magmar and the Mimikyu over the Primarina and the Slitherwing. So just so we get started off here and everything, I'm thinking I want to try, at least for this first game, Iron Boulder does look really good into this team here, and especially once he gets a Sword Stance up, as he'll be able to hit everything for either neutral or super effective, because I'm just running Mighty Cleave and Psycho Shock this week. So, but instead of just showing him everything right off the bat, I want to see what he's doing right off the bat too, so I want to try to save it for the end. But, yeah, so I lead with Moltres and Muk because I figure that's going to be good into his Cresselia if he leads it. But he leads Slitherwing, Iron Hands, double fighting type versus my Kanto Moltres and my Alolan Muk. So I know the fake out's coming here. The fake out's coming into one of 2 spots. Which spot is it going into? That's a great question. So we see the booster energy here for the attack, so that is a little scary initially. Good to know it's not on the Iron Hands, which means it's probably AV. So I'm just debating on what I want to do here first and everything. So I'm like, okay, if he fakes out the Muk, I get an attack off the Moltres. If he fakes out the Moltres, I get an attack off the Muk. So I figured I want to scout what this Iron Hands item is, and as a bug fighting type, an Air Slash should one-hit KO this Slitherwing, and we know it's not Focus Sash because we just saw the booster energy. And I mean, unless he's running rocks, like a rock move on this Slitherwing, I don't think he can take out my Salmonella. So it goes for the fake out onto the Moltres, that's fine. With the close combat, first turn right away into Muk. And God, Muk, I love you so much with just how bulky you are. We live on 12 HP, and we get the knockoff into the Iron Hands. And we see it is the AV, so that's just good to know. He's standard Assault Vest and everything. But now, it's as much as Muk took that, Muk cannot take another hit from either of these two, and I believe, and the Slitherwing is definitely the fastest thing on the field right now. So I'm just debating if I want to let my Muk go down, or if I want to cover with a Protect as an Air Slash. Because I'm also thinking he's got to know I have a Flying type move, so he's got to predict that I have the Air Slash here. So I just go for the Protect to see what he scouts for, or what he switches out into, and just at least get a little bit of extra leftovers recovery here with Muk. He stays in though to go for another close combat in an attempt to take out the Muk and everything, and I just see that and I'm like, yes, awesome, I get to take out the Slitherwing. 95% accurate, by the way. So that's a great start here and everything, and he goes for the Wild Charge, reveals my Walk-on Berry. I knew that way I'd be able to take at least one and everything kind of deal, because this is also a pretty defensive invested Moltres as well. I have what? 148 defense, 60 HP. So now I'm a little concerned because I've revealed the Air Slash, but I didn't get any value of it because a 95% accurate move miss. And I'm like, alright, so he's gonna absolutely switch out Slithering here to preserve that, because there's no, or he's got a Terra in and everything. So, and I'm like, now that it doesn't have the Assault Vest, I was like, a Scorching Sand should do a good amount. So he actually goes for the Protect, just predicting another Air Slash, which is a good call and everything. But instead, so I reveal the Scorching Sands as well into the Iron Hands. It does a good amount of damage, not as much as I'd really like for it to be. They get the Drain Punch off a little bit back, and in return he takes out my Muck. And it's also revealing that his Iron Hands does have some speed EVs, because I have 4 speed EVs in my Muck. So I'm like, okay, if he doesn't have any speedy EVs, I'm like, I'll outspeed him. Otherwise, I was like, this does reveal that he's got some speed. So now I've missed my Air Slash, and I've already lost my Alolan Muck, which is my best, excuse me, my best answer into the Cresselia. So I'm a little concerned here, and I'm like, alright, I think it's time we need to start setting up with Iron Hands and everything. So I reveal the Terra Fairies, so in case any bug or fighting type moves want to come out, I'll be able to take those. And I just go for I'm like, we just need to start picking up KOs, so I decide to remove the Iron Hands off the field with a Psycho Cut. This position's fine without the Swords Dance yet, but I do realize I'm like, if I want to be like cleaning up with Iron Hands, I really will need, or not Iron Hands, Iron Boulder, I will need to get a Swords Dance up eventually. But ideally, this is just a double KO here. Now he switches out into Cresselia, a good switch out, nice Pokemon, and it reveals he does have the Cresselia. I love shiny Cresselia, I love the blue. Again, that I've now lost my Muck for, so that's something I'm thinking about for Game 2, working on preserving Muck. I reveal the Terra Fairy here, in case there was any Bug-type moves coming out from Slitherwing. And the Psycho Cut takes out the Iron Hands, so I'm at least feeling a little better that we're now evened up on 3 for 3. So... and I just get some good damage off into the Cresselia. It's nothing crazy. Moltres is going to be great to take out the Slitherwing, but otherwise it's not doing too much here, because I don't want to necessarily set up a Tailwind in fear of a Trick Room coming out, and out comes his own Moltres. So we have Kanto versus Galar on the field, and now this thing is scary, because if he's bringing this out, that means he's going to Terra it to avoid my Mighty Cleave. He knows I've got Mighty Cleave. So, the question is, what is he Terraing into? Kind of deal. So, I'm like, you know what, we're just gonna, I can't Psycho Cut it anyway, so we're just gonna see, or here is, yeah, nice, and I've got Durex Ad in the back, so. Here, and now it's actually, I'm like, it's time to, I'm like, Moltres can't do anything here, Moltres isn't doing anything. So, I'm like, it's time to get Durex Ad in, at least I'll have the Friend Guard up. And just to scout what he Terra's into, to scout what this is in for, then to see what this Cresselia wants to do, I figure now is a good time to get the Swords Dance up so I can really start putting in some damage with this Iron Boulder. So out comes the Terra from Moltres into the Terra Steel, and once I see the Terra Steel, I'm just like, damn, that's good. Because not only does it resist my Dark type, but it also resists the Rock type, but it resists the Psychic type. So now both of my stats here, I cannot touch. I go for the Swords Dance, they go for the Nasty Plot. And this Moltres is looking really scary, especially on top of the fact that they don't go for the Trick Room, but they go for another great form of speed control, the Icy Wind, to slow down both my Mons and break this Focus Sash on Durex. So I'm like, great. I'm like, so the first thing I want to do is, at least, I think about it, I'm like, I want to taunt this Cresselia to prevent it from doing any other shenanigans. I need to really check my speed tiers and everything, because this thought process was, oh no, I was like, if I Super Fang the Moltres first, I'll get it below half HP, and then even a resisted Iron Boulder does a good amount of damage. So they go for the Protect. Here we go, Mighty Cleave, you see it in action. Remember people, Mighty Cleave goes through Protect. but Super Fang does not. You see, so that's my bad there on the speed controls. I wanted to get it the other way around. And again, because then they just go for another Icy Wind. So now I'm at -2 speed on my speed booster Iron Boulder. So this is actually a little scary now, and I've got no way for speed control. So if they just go for doubling moves with like Fiery Wrath and Icy Wind, I'm like, there's no reason to follow me and everything, because there's nothing to follow me away from. So I'm like, all right. I'm like, let's try for this strategy again. I'm like, we're gonna go for the Super Fang onto the Moltres, and I'm gonna protect. So then that way I can next turn do some damage with Iron Boulder. But Stewb, you sneaky player. He reveals the ally switch. Now I'm like, great. I need to account for ally switch for this set and everything. So the Super Fang goes off into the Cresselia, and it also reveals the Rocky Helmet, which is good to know that it's not Mental Herb, so I can freely taunt it. And now after seeing the ally switch, I should 100% taunt right here, just in case I was like, he wants to as well, and I'm just like, I should 100% taunt the Cresselia here, because he just revealed the ally switch, and I don't want to have to be playing around with that anymore. But I think I just decide, I'm like, you know, that Cresselia is actually at a low amount of HP, where an Iron Boulder will take, or a Mighty Cleave will take it out. So he gets a crit on his Air Slash. So not only did I miss my Air Slash turn 1, he gets a crit on his +2 Air Slash. So we love RNG. Mighty Cleave takes out Cresselia, and the Super Fang comes out into the Moltres. It's going to activate Berserk, which is, you know, a little scary, but it is what it is and everything. It's good to know that. So the Moltres now outspeeds, and we reveal the Citrus Berry here. So this is a little scary and everything, because he's got the Slitherwing coming out now, and I've got Moltres in the back, and I'm just like, alright, well, Moltres can't hit each of these things super effectively. I'm like, it's a 2v1 would make it hard, especially since this Moltres will A, probably outspeed my Moltres, and B, it's sitting at +3, which is scary. Plus, I don't know how much Scorching Sands would do. So I want to go for the Follow Me to take and redirect anything that's going to come out now, which does the First Impression. And he goes for the Air Slash just to pick up a double KO on my Iron Boulder. And this is where I'm just looking, I'm thinking about what I want to change for Game 2, because it's kind of Jover how I bring out Moltres now. God, I wish the Slitherwing was gone from that first Air Slash before, but you know, it is what it is, so. And I'm just like, alright, I'm like, let's just try to pick up another KO. But you can see the +3 Fiery Wrath comes out. Their Moltres outspeeds my Moltres, because I didn't put too much speed. I made this more of a bulky Moltres. How much speed? I've got 36 speed using Moltres. And I've got his, oh yeah, I've got his Pokepaste up here. His Moltres is 252 Timid. So, yeah, I am not outspeeding that Moltres. But yeah, so game 1 goes to Stewb. GG's, yeah. Slitherwing and Galarian Moltres are really scary. Cresselia hurts with Ally Switch, Icy Wind, and Rocky Helmet. And it's just good to know that it's Assault Vest, Iron Hands. So I'm thinking about what I want to change for Game 2 here. I don't need the Clef Key because they didn't reveal the Trick Room. And it's clear that his speed control is the Icy Wind. So now to put some more immediate pressure off right away, I was like, alright, I need to bring Sandy Shocks, because especially knowing that this thing's Terra Steel, the Moltres, the Sandy Shocks is looking really good with both just the dual stab, electric, and ground. And you can see this week I've gone for the choice specs instead of the Life Orb, just because I just need this thing to hit like a truck. I don't like what I've got Volt Switch for positioning and everything, but just when Ohm's on the field, I need Ohm to hit like a truck. Again, I bring Sargassum because even though I feel like I took care of the Cresselia, especially once I got a Sword Stance up with Iron Boulder, I need the Muck as my best answer, especially with the knockoff. And especially knowing that it also takes a Slitherwing close combat. But the problem is Muck. What does Muck really do in return to an Iron Hands and a Slitherwing? And then Iron Boulder is the fourth for cleanup. So here we go. Game 2. He takes out the same lead of Iron Hands, Slitherwing, and I change it up by going Moltres and then Sandy Shocks this time. You see the booster energy again. And I'm just like, alright, we're gonna play this game again. I'm just like, I was like, he's most likely gonna fake out my Moltres. But there's nothing he can really do. Here I'm doing some damage calcs and everything. I'm just like, how much I'm like, if he does fake out my Sandy Shocks, I was like, I think I don't think it's a close combat from the Slitherwing is an OHKO based on my stats, but I think it has a chance to OHKO. If I remember the count correctly. So, and I know it's AV, so I know this Earth Power is not going to one-hit KO the Iron Boulder. So I'm just debating on what I want to do, but I just decide, you know what, we're gonna, I was like, we need to attack with both and everything, see who he wants to fake out. We'll go Air Slash and we'll go Earth Power. So again, same thing as game 1. He fakes out my Moltres, Moltres flinches, Earth Power does huge chunk of damage, just good job, Sandy Shocks, and the same thing is with his first impression. That first impression does a lot of damage. So I'm like, alright, what to do now and everything, because I was like, he's probably going to switch out into either Moltres or Cresselia to take this ground type attack coming in from Sandy Shocks, and I want Sandy Shocks in the back for later to clean up against this Moltres. So even though he already is at kind of low HP, so I switch out into Muck here, and because I know we can at least take one close combat if that's what he decides to go for, and then as long as Air Slash hits, which is unlike the first game, it should the Slitherwing should be one-hit KO. So again, I got the kind of prediction right. He switches out the Iron Hands into the Cresselia. Switches out the Iron Hands into the Cresselia. Out comes the close combat. Again, Muck, you just take that like the champ you are. 18 HP this time, instead of even 6 HP. Or instead of 12 HP, that's 6 HP more different. And thankfully, this 95% accurate Air Slash hits, and the Muck and the Slitherwing goes down. So I'm like, alright, nice. That's one huge threat removed out of the way. And I've also got Muck in versus this Cresselia here. So that comes out the Iron Hands for the fake out pressure, and I'm just like, that's fine. I'm like, seeing as this Cresselia is going to want a Icy Wind, I'm like, now is my time to get up either a Tailwind to help prevent that speed control, or I'm gonna get a Moonblast, or not a Moonblast, excuse me, a Low Shocker, what they go for, or I get a knockoff into this Cresselia to remove the Rocky Helmet, and just do a huge chunk of damage to it overall. Again, so see, again, fake out here into the Moltres for the third time. Moltres flinches, which is fine. The Moonblast comes out, and that 6 HP difference made such a huge difference, because you saw I lived there on 5 compared to whereas last time from the close combat I lived on 12 HP. So Sargasm living there, which is huge. I love you. I love the leftovers and everything. I get the knockoff off, good chunk of damage into the Cresselia, puts it below half HP, and the Rocky Helmet's gone. I lose it to the Rocky Helmet, but you know what? That's okay. Oh, and I want to keep Sandy Shocks in the back for this Moltres. So I'm like, alright, it's time to bring out the Iron Boulder and clean up a little bit. So I don't have the Sword Stance up, but I'm kind of just seeing, I'm like, how much is this all going to do? I'm running a little bit of damage counts, thinking what I want to do. Debating if I want to get this Tailwind up, which I think I do, because I know this Cresselia is going to be going for some Icy Winds. And I'll say I should Terra here. There's no reason I don't Terra Muck, or not Muck, Iron Boulder here, because Sandy Shocks is Terra Ice. I'm not really going to be Terraing that. And I mean, I could Terra Ground the Moltres, but I don't think that's necessary yet. So they come out the Iron Boulder, they Terra the Iron Boulder to make it Terra Fire. It's a very interesting decision because I've already revealed the Scorching Sands. And I've already revealed the Scorching Sands, so that would still be super effective. And also, it's just not in any position to be taking like HP, like to be taking any hits like that, even from just a neutral Psychic Cut. So I get the Tailwind up, and they go for the Icy Wind. So now I'm like, alright, this is at least just a little bit better now. I still buy myself some more speed turns from this Cresselia. And I've now eliminated the Iron Hands, and I've also gotten rid of his Terra, which is nice, because now that means this Moltres is free to get Mighty Cleaved. So I'm just like, yeah, I'm like, alright, Moltres, you've done your job here, let's just get some damage off and everything. And this was just so, I doubled up just in case, because I was, also because I was like, well, I can clean up Moltres that can't Terra now with Sandy Shocks. A Terra Fairy to remove the Dark type weakness. And, also knowing that the ally switch might be coming out, I was like, here we go, we're going to target the Cresselia. Mighty Cleave. Beautiful. Thank you for that ally switch. Because that just one-hit KO the Galarian Moltres. And, yeah, and then Moltres is getting some good not good damage, it's fine. But, and the Tailwind is proving extremely valuable here, so I'm happy with how I've played this game now, and I'm just thinking about what I want to do versus the next game. And then the Mighty Cleave finishes off the Cresselia. Oh, I guess since I died, since my Muck died to the Rocky Helmet, I guess that didn't remove it. Oh, I just learned something new today. But anyways, we take game 2. 3-0. Match is tied at 1-1. And now I'm just thinking about how I want to adapt, because he brought the same 4 again. He didn't bring the Volbeat and he didn't bring the Primarina, so I'm like, alright, he's gonna be bringing these 4. And now I'm just thinking, I'm like, you know what, Iron Boulder has been doing a lot. I'm looking at Moltres here, and I'm like, you've been good for the speed control. I like you for the Tailwind and everything, so I'm thinking about these 4, but then just the more I'm sitting here, and the more I'm thinking about it, and I'm just like, what if I just set up Iron Boulder from the beginning? Just turn 1, because I'm here, again, leading Moltres, as you guys see, I'm weak to the Fake Out, and he knows at this point I don't have Protect on my Moltres, because I haven't revealed the Will-O-Wisp, but if I haven't gone for the Protect at all yet, he knows I don't have it. And so now I'm thinking here, and I'm just like thinking how I want to deal with this first turn of the Slitherwing Iron Boulder or Iron Hands coming out. And that's specifically why I put Protect on my mouse hold, so I'd be able to Protect versus a Fake Out. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I don't feel like I necessarily need Moltres for the win condition, even though the Air Slash and the Tailwind are nice. And I'm like, what if I just set up Iron Boulder, mouse hold right away, turn 1, go for double Protect, and then follow me Swords Dance. And I just start, and then with Muck and Sandy Shocks in the back to clean up the Cresselia and the Moltres, especially when that when it Terra Steals, respectively. So here we go into Game 3, final match of the set. My speed booster goes off and his attack booster goes off. So I'm like, alright. I'm like, here comes the close combat Fake Out. So I'm like, you know what? Just turn 1, double Protecting. I'm like, we're going to nullify this Fake Out. Absolutely, and that's specifically the reason I put Protect on my mouse hold here, so that I can Protect versus Fake Out, and not have to burn a Terra Ghost. I thought about Terra Ghosting here and everything, but I just recognize, especially if he starts getting some icy winds off, how much I just need I need to remove my dark weakness versus that Moltres with my Iron Boulder. So nothing too exciting of a first turn here. I just go for my double attacks. He goes for the fake out as predicted into the Iron Boulder. And the close combat. Nice, exactly, as predicted kind of deal. So I'm like, alright, got that turn out of the way. I'm like, now it's time for the plan. Now time for turn 2. I'm like, we're in a Swords Dance. And we're gonna follow me. And I Terra here. I don't necessarily need to burn my Terra this early, but I just do know, like, I will need to Terra eventually with Iron Boulder. And, because Mousehold has the Focus Sash, so I'll be able to take both of the attacks coming out from these two here and everything. I could have, you know, predicting the double fighting type moves, again, I could have Terra Ghosted, but I feel just this Terra Fairy to remove my dark type weakness is so much more valuable versus this Moltres he's got in the back. Because that's what really swept me. The Moltres Cresselia with the Icy Wind, Nasty Plot, is really what finished me off that first game. So that's what I'm concerned about here. So out comes my Terra. Nothing he hasn't seen so far. Terra Fairy, Iron Boulder. Because as I was just looking at his team, I was like, he doesn't really have any Poison or Steel types to hit any Fairy types. Plus, with the Darks and the double fighting, I figured it was Terra Fairy's pretty good defensively into his team. So, follow me. Take Sword Stance. Iron Boulder's ready to start doing some damage because, like, Iron Boulder just does not really do any damage without a Sword Stance up. So out comes the close combat. We take it, revealing the Focus Sash, and it's again. You see, here's the double fighting type moves. The Drain Punch finishes off the Mousehold, but I'm in a good position because now Mousehold is down. I can bring out my Sandy Shocks here for free. And I can start doing some huge damage off now and everything, because I was like, I can Mighty Cleave the Slitherwing. That's going to be a guaranteed one-hit KO. Unless he has to, like, Terra Steel or something. And then I have an Earth Power. And then he knows the Earth Power is coming off into the Iron Hands. So, predicting that I'm going to use... I was like, I think he knows that I'm going to go for the Earth Power. It's clear as day here. So he's going to switch out again into his Cresselia or his Moltres to take the ground immunity. So instead I go for the Volt Switch. And that is exactly what happened. So again, out comes the Cresselia with the Levitate to take the incoming ground type attack. But that's not the case. So Mighty Cleave goes off, again, goes through Protect, so I don't need to worry about him protecting or anything. As we saw in Game 1, it goes through Protect. And I just get the one-hit KO. Plus, now I get the repositioning of Volt Switch, so my Muck can come on out now versus the Cresselia. And I'm feeling pretty good. I'm in a good position here. I've got Sandy Shocks in the back for the Moltres and everything. And I've got my Muck out now versus the Cresselia, and I've got my Terra Iron Boulder at +2. But now here is the shock. Here is the twist. He didn't bring Moltres this third match. He brought Primarina. And now after week 2, I'm very aware how good Primarina can be. But it's a little curveball. I'm like, okay. I'm like, same thing. So he's probably going to Terra here. I'm like, let's just reveal what the Terra is. And it's Terra Steel as well. Again, just knowing that he made the right call, knowing that I wouldn't be able to fit a fighting type move onto my Iron Boulder if I needed Mighty Cleave and Psycho Cut. So, yeah, that was a great call, the Terra Steel. You can see it does just about half HP. And see, with the Hyper Voice here, I'm glad I went for the Terra onto my Iron Boulder to remove my Water type weakness. It reveals the Throat Spray, so now this thing is a little scary, but the knockoff just does huge damage, and we remove the Rocky helmet. So I'm like, all right. I'm looking here at this Primarina, and I'm like, a Mighty Cleave did just about half HP, and I was like, so another one should knock it out, right? And everything. I was like, it looks like it just. I'm like, so it might be a roll kind of deal, but I was like, so you know, we're just gonna go for the Mighty Cleave again. And then I was like, and then I'll just finish off the Cresselia with a Crunch. And the Mighty Cleave comes out, and you can see it just barely lives and everything. It's good to know that we're still outspeeding it. We outspeed at 1 Icy Wind, but now I'm here looking at 2 Icy Winds. First of all, that just +1 Hyper Voice did a lot of damage. And I'm just sitting here looking, and I'm just like, I was like, do I outspeed versus a, I was like at -2 now. So at -2, my speed stat is now 138 and everything. A Primarina with 92 speed EVs, screw it, we'll just go all the way up here. A Primarina at 252 modest, so not timid, is 112. If I make it timid, it only gets up to 123. So I'm like, alright, with my Proto Boost speed booster, I'm like, I should still be outspeeding this Primarina. And I was like, the problem is like I have to double protect here, again, to burn these turns of Fake Out. Because I was like, that's how I lose. I was like, it's if I get Sandy Shocks in a 1v2 scenario. I was like, that's how I lose here. So the Fake Out comes out into the Iron Boulder. That's fine because I protected. Hyper Voice, again at +1. That thing hurts. That thing does some damage. But we double protected here to cover for that. Get some leftovers back and everything. Not like it's going to matter too much. It's a little bit. You get them 12 HP. And now I'm just like, alright, I'm like, I should still be the fastest thing on the field. I'm like, so Iron Hands needs to take out Iron Boulder needs to take out the Primarina. And then Mach, I was like, let's get this AV off the Iron Hands. So I'm like, if Iron Boulder goes down here, I can still clean up with the Sandy Shocks in the back end. So I get the Mighty Cleave off. Again, I was correct. Speed Booster is the way to go because I would have needed one more Icy Wind to outspeed. Iron Boulder takes out the Primarina. He trades with my Muck on the the Iron Hands, going for the Drain Punch. But now, especially with Iron Boulder and Sandy Shocks on the field, it's looking like a GG because I just Earth Power and I Psycho Cut. I'm at +2. It's an Iron Hand, so it's definitely not. If Iron Boulder outsped the Primarina, Iron Boulder's gonna definitely outspeed these Iron Hands. So the Sandy Shocks does a good amount of damage first off with the Earth Power, and then Iron Boulder on the cleanup gets with the Psycho Cut gets the cleanup. So I'm happy my plan to just sweep with Iron Boulder in the third game here actually kind of worked. And but yeah, that's a GG's to Coach Stewb, excuse me, and the Maryland Torterrapins. It's a very close 2-1 and everything. I feel like Stewb played really well. I loved the Slitherwing pickup. The Moltres is really scary, and just Cresselia was a huge threat. I underestimated that. So yeah, so we move up to 3-0. It is week 4 because I haven't played my week 3 match yet. Next week we go up against Coach Robier of the Daly City Dragonites with Iron Hands, Glastrier, Tinglu, Arcalodon, Milotic, Mimikyu, Vikavolt, Gastrodon, Spiritomb, and Wordeer. Let me look. That's still he's in the Bleak Wind conference. Yeah, that's still his team and everything. Yeah, so we'll catch you guys again. We'll catch you guys then. Scubar, over and out.